Ah, no le saques.
Hello, everybody. We want to welcome all the boxing family to the WBC Talks. The WBC is always concerned about every fact in life, and now that we're in this crisis and at home, we want to bring you some entertainment, but also knowledge, especially boxing knowledge. The WBC, the hashtag WBC Stay Home, Stay Safe is what we're promoting right now. This day, we will have the round 2, that is hand wrapping. But first, let me introduce all the panelists that we're gonna have today. First, we have 𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗, you know the name, of course. He's a director of the WBC office in LA. Also with us, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗. She's the director from the WBC University. Dr. Ricardo Monreal, he's member of the WBC Medical Committee. We have Jaime Lera, sorry about that. He's an amateur hand wrapping expert. And of course, our champion, our dear champion, David Benavides, 2-time WBC super middleweight champion. He is with us and he's gonna let us know what is the hand wrapping for him. Also here, Jose Benavides is trainer, manager, but most important, he's the father of David and Jose Jr. Everybody's gonna tell us about the hand wrapping here. Hello, everybody. Hello, Pepe. Hello, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗.
Hi.
Hola.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to round 2 of our series, which is going to be very educational, very exciting. You know, the WBC is always trying to be proactive, and we have a very important social responsibility with the whole world. This is a World Boxing Council. So we are staying home, we are staying safe. Mauricio has education is the best thing that we can have. So we have the best of the best in our organization, and we cannot be more happy and more proud of serving you in these hard times. Just be conscious of our responsibility. We all have something to work with, and we are helping to keep you informed, entertained with the most valuable information that we have. So we are going to have 10 very exciting rounds, one each day. Today is hand wraps. This morning I was training with my son. I was hitting the heavy bag. I could only go three 1-minute round. That's ridiculous. But well, you know, I'm an old man. But I didn't wrap my hands. I should have never done that. So today we're gonna have the Here we have David Benavides, Jose Benavides wrapping his hands for you, okay? So we have the best showing you how to do things. So welcome and enjoy.
Thank you, Pepe. It's very important to what the WBC is doing, so we can forget about a little while about the COVID-19 and focus in boxing again. I want to ask 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗗, the WBC University Director, to tell us about these WBC talks that we're having now.
Yes, Victor, of course. Well, first, hello, everybody. The talks are going to be organized in 10 rounds. We're going to be together from Monday to Friday at 1 o'clock Mexico City time. As you and Pepe share, these are going to be solidarity and knowledge rounds. We want to share all the knowledge that we have achieved in the WBC Boxing University. We've been talking with experts all over the world for about 2 years, and today is the time to share. Today is the time to be at home, to stay safe, and to everybody has a team knock out the COVID-19. As I say, these rounds are going to be transmitting live by the social media of the WBC. You only need to click the transmission, and if you were not able to see it or you want someone else to see it, you can share it, and this is going to be online all of these days. And well, right now with this, we are going to be, I just want to say that we're going to be interacting with the experts, referees, Bandage. Yesterday we had a very interesting panel on health matters, and tomorrow we're going to have trainers, the Thursday I mean, and so we're going to be sharing many different topics. With this, I'm just going to be here and listen to this very interesting round 2 with the experts in hand wrapping. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞𝗦. And also, as you said, you should look for the chat that we had yesterday in English or Spanish. It was really interesting with very valuable information from specialists and doctors that had all the knowledge about this. But now, one of the most important or thrilling moments that we're gonna have, I wanna show you a video about David Benavides. Please roll it. Can we have the video from David? Do we have it ready?
Yes.
El bandera roja, David Benavides. Anthony, the dog Durrell. Benavides right there.
Punches. Benavides. Durrell steps right in there. He's really smothering himself. He's smothering his own punches.
The right hand. Now there's that double hook, and bam, there's that hook that I think Durrell thought he hurt Benavides.
David Benavides hoping to win back the belt. Flurry of punches from Benavides.
Blocked 9 out of those 10 shots. He had his hands up and good.
But the problem... All right. Here you see Durrell starting his combination punching. Here's a whole bunch more. You know, both of them are good boxers.
Remaining in round 6. Blood coming down under the right eye of Anthony Durrell.
It's opened up from those left hooks from earlier in the round. Oh yeah. Bad spot, right? Ooh. Here's his body punches from Benavides. Oh, it's a nice counter hook by Probst.
These last 4 rounds.
They're going to stop the fight right now.
That will do it.
Victory,
Yeah.
Benavides.
The WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the World, El Bandera Roja, David Benavides.
Yeah, Gilberto.
Víctor, está apagado tu micrófono.
Thank you, Pepe. He's fearless. El bandera roja, the red flag, is really fearless, and he just go there and get what he wants. and you got the title twice. I just want to ask you, David, you're a high performance athlete. How are you facing this crisis at home?
Well, right now, we're just trying to stay as home as much as possible. Have all the disinfectant wipes at home, but we're still staying active by training in the garage. Sometimes I come to my dad's gym when I'm able to. We're just setting everything up, but we could just, we just pray for the best, and we'll still work as hard as we can from home.
That's the physical part. I mean, it's not easy, but it's easier than the mental part. How are you facing to be at home, to be you cannot go out and run or shop or eat or just stay home? How are you facing that with the family?
I feel like we're just trying to, we're just as safe as we can. We're not trying to, get sick from the COVID-19. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cases going on in Washington, where I'm from, or where we're living at right now. So I think the best thing is just to stay in as much as possible and try to stay safe, for our upcoming fights.
Are you following a routine? I mean, you wake up at sometimes and then train, or how is your routine on a daily basis?
Yeah, I try to wake up early in the morning, and then I try to, go in my garage, maybe get an hour of workout in. I think I want to get a treadmill in there soon, so I could, so I wouldn't really have to leave at all. I could just have a treadmill in the garage and, train at my house. And then, sometimes I come to my father's gym too. He just got it. There hasn't really been any people in here, so this is how we stay safe in here too. Just disinfecting everything and, making sure everything is safe to train in.
Yeah. Champion, how about, is there anything about your diet that you are doing? A lot of people talk about keeping the metabolism well. That's the best way to fight this thing that is going on today. So also keeping the diet in order.
Yeah, we've been just trying to eat the same thing we've been eating, chicken, fish, rice, all that stuff, just trying to eat as clean as possible.
Yeah, many times it's not easy to do that. I mean, when you're at home, especially when you're used to go out and work or train, or when you're home, like these times, it's like a really, really long weekend. So
yeah.
You wake up late and watch TV or eat whatever you have. And how is your mental structure for this?
I feel like this is a very serious situation. I think what people need to do, is take this as serious as possible. Take every precaution not to get, not to go outside or get infected and come back, and giving it to all the people in your family. I think you should stay inside as much as you can. Wash your hands as much as you can, and this is a very serious matter, and a lot of people are dying. So I feel like, you need to be very serious about what's going on, and, stay as safe as possible.
Thank you very much, David. Now I want to introduce you, Don Jose Benavides. He's right here next to David, and he's going to teach us how to hand wrap. Please go ahead.
Ready. Well, the most important thing, I've been doing this for, I've been doing it for Jose Benavides Jr. and David Benavides for like about 10 years now. The most important thing is, you always keep learning. It's not always the same. The most important thing about the hand, you got to make sure you protect these areas here, right here. By doing that, you got to do crosses. And the thing is, like I said that before, everybody's different. Some people like their hands a little bit more tighter. Some people like it a little bit more looser. So every time it's a little bit different. Sometimes, you think you're doing a good job, but it bothers. So you got to have that communication with the fighter all the time. So we're going to start today. I'm going to show you first. We went ahead and did one. This is how it's supposed to be. Got to make sure you have a really nice wrap on the bottom so you can close your hand. Also, it has to be very comfortable, because otherwise some people put a lot of gauze in the bottom and you can't close your hand. So this is what we do here. Is the product is done, but I'm going to show you from the bottom. In a lot of states, some states like Las Vegas. Are you guys there?
Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Oh, can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay, in some states like Las Vegas, they allow you to put a cross on the hands, a tape, So this is what you're allowed to do in Las Vegas here. That's it. You can do a cross here. This is what you're allowed. That protects the hand a little bit. And then you start with the gauze. And this is what you are allowed to do in pretty much every state and country. I have a padding already made, and this is the gauze that we use. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to protect the wrist there first. Make sure it's a little tight, not too tight. Then we go to the side finger, the thumb, and then I do a little bit of crosses. I like to do a little crosses here so I can protect the middle part of the hand. So then after that, I go around the knuckles, and then I start putting the padding position.
Don
Here.
Jose, one question. How
Yes.
far can you go there in the knuckles or the fingers?
And the knuckles and the fingers, it doesn't really matter. What they care about is more about the tape, what you put on top. So somewhere maybe before the middle finger where it feels comfortable, because if you put it a little bit passing those lines there, it's going to be uncomfortable to close the hand. So try to stay behind, but it's not really, they don't really put a lot of tension on that. So somewhere where you feel comfortable. It's on the finished product where they really expect that you don't put tape over the knuckles. So from there, you just position the pad. What I like to do, everybody does a little bit different. What I like to do is do it a little bit long and kind of stay right on the middle of the fingers there. And try to make it nice and neat, because you got to remember that when you do the hand rest for the professional gloves, for a professional fight, then you go in between the fingers, they're smaller. So you got to make sure you do it exactly right on the side and don't put too much padding, because you're going to struggle to put the hand in there. So a lot of people like to do the padding really, really big. I like to stay in between. So after that, you go between the fingers here, and then you go up, you go around, and you go again, and you come to the side, and then you go on the middle one. I like to do the middle one last. So you come around. When I was telling you about the see how it's here right now, what I like to do is I like to fix that. I like to press a little bit, nice and neat, so it could go on the glove. So what I do, I go on the front here like this, so it can compress a little bit and be smaller. So when you put it inside the glove, it goes nice and neat and it's not too tight. So what I like to do there, I like to go on the top and compress a little bit there so it can protect the knuckles. And now I press. I put my finger here and I press, and I try not to do it too hard. And I always ask the boxer, is it comfortable? Do you feel good before I keep going? Because I don't want to go forward and then he says, oh, it bothers me there. So I got to go all the way back. So here, because I've been doing it to David for so long, I already kind of know how he wants it. So there, if you see, all that is really nice, and it's not on the sides, going all the way to the side. So see, it's ready to go now. What I concentrate now is more on the details. I'm pressing here a little bit more, not too much. I gotta make sure the wrist is a little tight. Then I go on the middle, and then I go on the top here, and I press a little bit, and then I start doing my X here, a turn, and then I come here with the next, and then I keep doing more X's there, here. So then I finish on top here, and there I'm not pressing anymore because I think it's already compressed. So what I do here, I gotta make sure here I kind of pull a little bit there, so I can make it a little bit comfortable. I kind of fix on the bottom and kind of try to put all that together there. So this is the product there. So what I like to do now, I go around the wrist, put in some pressure, not a lot. I go around the thumb.
Now, this is tape now, right?
Yes, this is the tape. Yeah, this is the 1-inch tape. That's I mean, you can use a 2-inch tape, but it's a little bit difficult to use. So what I do here.
Where is your WBC World tape?
Huh?
This is Mauricio, Papa. How are you?
Oh, how are you, Mauricio? You forgot to send me the WBC tape.
I know, we gotta send you WBC World tape.
Yeah. So this is what we do here. We put tape on the top just so it can look a little bit nice. If you see, it's not all over the place. So now it's ready to go. Now, what I like to do now, I like to go around. See, the thing is, in professional boxing, you gotta make sure the knuckles are right here. If you can see, knuckles are right here. You can't put tape in there. You gotta go behind the knuckles. So what I do, I always ask the inspector, is that okay? So what I do from there back, I start putting tape. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to compress so I can protect that middle of the hand a little bit more. So that's what I do on the side there, just to make sure. So what I do now, I want to protect these areas here, the ones in the middle. So what I'm gonna do crosses. I did my straight line, so I'm gonna do crosses here. I don't know if you guys can see there. Here, that's one side, so I go to the other side. Here.
And what you usually ask a fighter that you're hand wrapping at the moment? Is it okay when? What do you tell David?
You know, David, I pretty much know his hand. I already know him. But whenever I do hands for other fighters, is that okay? Does it feel comfortable? Is it not too loose? Is it too tight? Those are the questions that I'm looking for. Because the thing is, if I tell them, close your hand before I do the last step, I want to make sure that it's comfortable. And see, and the thing is, close your hand. See, the thing is, some people, what I've seen, can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay, some people, they like to put the wraps a little bit high. So when you put the gloves in, so the knuckles are sticking out. So I like to leave it a little bit more than normal. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to roll the tape here like this. And what I like to do, I like to go around the fingers and from inside. From inside, so what I do, see, this is what I do here. Here, so I can protect those knuckles a little bit more. What I'm trying to do is put the padding a little bit lower, so the knuckles will not stick out.
How
so
much
what I
tape
do now,
to use?
What was that?
How much tape? Are you?
You're only permitted to use one roll of tape. You can't use more than a roll of tape. And this is the only tape that you can use. So as you see, I'm almost half of it in each hand. So what I'm gonna do here, I put the tape under the hand, and this is just to align those knuckles here. If you can see here, and what I like to do, I like to press a little bit on the bottom, so that knuckle can be protected. There, here, so the knuckle will not go out. So, and I like to do that. So I'm going to do the last one here. So I roll here. So see, this is the last one. So I go through the grip there, and I grab. And a lot of people like to pull. I don't like to pull. I just place it nice and neat there. Because when you pull, you try to pull that grip a lot. So what I do now, I come back again with the tape on the top here. And maybe do some more crosses. These are very important. These crosses are protecting the middle of the hand. There. And I'm almost halfway to the tape. So that's it now. So what I'm gonna start again, all the way from the top, and just making sure I go around so I could put all that tape together. So when the hand goes inside the glove, the tape is not touching. Like if you, for some reason, if you put the tape a little bit like this, and it folds up, it's gonna hold that hand wrap from going inside, and you're gonna struggle. So you just gotta make sure everything is there in place. And see, I still have a little bit of tape. I try not to use a lot of tape, and that's done. The hand, just make sure you close it here, make sure everything's good, and you see that.
That way you can see the the hand wrap is it's really good balance. It's I'm able to close my hand really good. There's a lot of protection at the top right here, but it's not too bulky. My hand is gonna feel good for when I put it
and the knuckles are there too inside. The knuckles are pretty much here. So sometimes if you put it a little bit too high, when you put the hand inside the glove, it'll pull it back, and then the knuckles are exposed. You don't want to do that. And the other important thing what David was saying was sometimes this is a little bit more bulky, and what I try to do is kind of get it right on the hand, straight on the hand here, so it's not too bulky, just kind of perfect like a glove. So,
I have a question. Do you wrap the hands the same for training as for a fight?
No, with training, what I like to do, because that's when they mess their hands up. That's when they kind of injure their hands. What I like to do, I like to put a padding on the bottom. I do it almost the same as I did it right now. The only difference that what I do, I put a padding. There's some gel paddings, or there's some like foam paddings. So some people feel comfortable using whatever they want, but I recommend that you put a padding on the bottom. I like the gel ones because they really get in place in your knuckles. So, but it's a little bit different though. A little bit tighter, a little bit more support on the knuckles.
I have a question, Papa. Why is it that there is a controversy if you should put tape before the gauze or not? Why do you think there's a controversy? Some places they don't allow the tape directly on the hand.
To me, it's not a big deal. I really never put it because I don't want to go through that. Ask them. I know in Las Vegas you could do that. In other states you're not allowed to put a tape on the skin. In Las Vegas, what you can do, you can put tape, and then you could put a little bit of gauze, and then you could put more tape on the gauze.
Correct.
And you could start doing the gauze again, and that creates a little bit of I'm not happy with that. I don't really do it. I just do it the way that I do it everywhere. But I'm not happy with that because then you put more tape and you create like a little cast. In Las Vegas, it's only like that.
But the explanation, what I have heard from others, is that when you put tape directly on the hand, then the hand wrap is going to be more stable. Otherwise, the gauze can move around. I don't know. That's the explanation I have heard.
I don't agree with that, but it could be true. I never done it. I don't like doing it because it doesn't even make a difference. It's only a little bit of tape, so it's not, and some inspectors are new. Sometimes they don't know. So I just rather not do it, and I really don't do it, But to me, it doesn't seem like it moves. So once you put pressure and once you start doing it again, it shouldn't move. But that's something that is not. I don't think it helps, or I don't think it's necessary.
Maybe Jaime Lera can give us his opinion on this matter.
Well, what I've heard is that when you put tape directly into the skin first, it could be a healthy issue if you get knocked out, because sometimes, as if there's a bad knockout, the first thing you have to do is relieve their body of the pressure. So you don't want anything doing any pressure. So you get the gloves off, maybe even the shoes. And obviously, if you have tape direct into the skin, it's more difficult to take out, because obviously when you go first with the wrap, you just cut it through and there's no problem. If it's a benefit or not for the boxer, I don't know. We normally just go directly with the wraps and then the tape, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree because if you have a broken hand or whatever, that tape is going to give you problems to cut it. It's going to take a little bit more time, and it's going to injure the hand. So I agree with you, actually. That's why I don't do it. I'd rather not. It's not going to help me a lot, so I stay away with it.
And Papa, I like to ask the Benavides, father and son, how do you feel at this moment of uncertainty? Are you anxious? How are you dealing with this? You were going to fight April 18 in home, at your hometown, Phoenix, but how are you dealing with it?
I'll tell you first, you know what, it was a little, we were a little bit upset, but, you know, at the same time, you got to stay positive. Things happen for a reason, you know, those things you can't control, you know, and we just got to stay positive. Things will change, they'll get better, and we'll get back. To me, it doesn't really affect me, you know. Yeah, I was looking forward to fighting Arizona, and we were so happy and excited, but things happen for a reason, you know. The most important thing now is for everybody to be okay, and for my family to be okay. So we're just trying to stay home safe and stay in shape a little bit, moving around a little bit, but it doesn't really affect me.
You know, I just feel like, you know, we're very excited to fight in Arizona for having a homecoming for the first time. We had worked very hard, had trained for like 3 months already, 2.5 months. And then this thing, this virus came about, you know, I would feel bad if you know, maybe 5,000 people went to go see me, you know, and those people ended up going back to their houses and somebody got infected. You know, I feel like that's what would be worst case scenario for us, you know. So I wouldn't want to see that happen at all in any of my fights. So, you know, I feel like we just have to take this thing very serious. You know, there's a lot of people get infected, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people losing family members. So I don't want to see that happen to any of my fans. So, you know, we just want to get by this first, and then, you know, back to the sport.
You are a leader, and I'm so proud of both of you. And I feel so sorry that you have lost one fight, but time will get back. So I love the way you are not anxious. The way the WBC is looking at this is in modules of 15 days, 2 weeks. We will evaluate what happens in the following 2 weeks, how things are. You know, today, China is free of infections, which is great.
Wow. Really?
And things will get good in the world, but it's in different areas. So we just have to be patient, don't get anxious, and keep doing your normal life at home. And I just wanted to tell you directly, David, you are a hero. Both of you as a family represent so much to the WBC and to myself. I'm very proud, and the WBC will support you 100%. It's just a little time that we have lost, but everything will get back, okay?
Thank you so much, Mauricio. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Thank you, Mauricio. Thank you to the WBC for all the support. You guys have changed our lives, and we're so happy to represent the WBC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if there's no more questions about the hand wrapping, I think we should go now with Dr. Ricardo Monreal. He can tell us about the most common injuries in hands or problems with the hands in boxing.
Okay, hi everybody. Speaking about COVID-19, stay home, stay safe. But if you get an injury in your hand, you will have to stay more time. So that's very important that we know the importance of hand wrapping rightly, because if not, we can get an injury. There are two kinds of injuries we can get. One by micro trauma, which means hitting and hitting and hitting. And the other group is direct trauma. We already know that prevention is the best treatment. For example, now these days that we're having a health issue all around the world, prevention is the most important. So we have to know some things about hands. For boxers, hands are the most important thing. It's the way they make a way of living. So we have to know a lot of things about anatomy and the forces of the hand. But in this time, we're going to speak a little bit about prevention of the most useful or the most common lesions of injuries of the hand. There are some studies that tell us that about 30% of all injuries can really be prevented if we have a good hand grabbing and we use your hands as we have to do. And if you are getting anxious because of things like the health issue that we have, can you imagine if you get an injury of your hands? It will take time. It will have an economical impact, and there will be a social impact for boxers. Because of the time of the recovery, it will be depending of the time of the kind of injury. As we know, the WBC has been always trying to be one step ahead in boxing security, especially in hands. Since the times of Don 𝗧𝗔𝗨𝗡, if you remember all the changes that have been through time, like the stick and thumb and the changing of gloves, the WBC is always trying to prevent that kind of injuries. We're gonna give a little trip about the most frequently injuries in boxers. One of the most frequently injuries in boxers is boxer's fracture, the scaphoid fracture, the thumb fracture, the boxer knuckle, the ganglion, or the carpal bows. We're going to tell just a little bit of the boxer fracture. The boxer fracture is the fracture of the 5th metacarpal bone. And most of the times is because of bad shaped gloves or bad shaped hand grabbing or a boxing punch error. So speaking about prevention, we can prevent most of the time that kind of injuries too. In this image, you can see what a thumb fracture is. They call it Bennett or Rolando, depending on the shape of the fracture. But believe me, that kind of fractures would take you out of boxing about for 5 or 6 months. Next. This is very important, and this is very common in boxers. That's the boxer knuckle, and that's a severe injury of the joint capsule because we have a tear of the sagittal band, and that's very common in boxers. There's some studies that have been made in England that tell us that about 10 or 15% of all professional boxers have or will have a boxer knuckle, and it's very painful. Those are the boxers that you always see that after finishing a fight, they have to put some ice on it. So it's very important that we know how to prevent it. Next. Because of the forces of hitting or punching, we can have problems in the soft tissues, not just the bones. For example, it's not the 100% of the causes, but ganglion or synovial cyst is one of the most common injuries of the soft tissues of the hand. Next. And I want to stop a little bit about carpal bows because about 20% of all boxers, including amateur boxing and professional boxers, have carpal bows. If you see all the hands of boxers, you will see that there's a bone spur on the hand between the 2nd and the 3rd metacarpal bone, and it's because of microtrauma. If we go to anatomical issues, our hands are not made to punch, but we love boxing. So what we can do is to prevent, and that's the importance of doing a good hand grabbing. Next. As a summary, I can tell you this. Prevention is very important, and education. So that's why the WBC and the WC Boxing University are doing this kind of talks, boxing talks, to prevent and to take education all around the world. It is very important to have an opportune treatment, and we have to make a good diagnosis very soon. So if you, for example, the Benavides family, if you notice any in your gym that is having problems with your hands, something is going wrong. So you have to take care before the real issue is, because the recovery could take longer if you don't prevent that kind of issues. Next. Okay.
I have a question, doctor.
Yes.
Once you get hurt, once you get an injury, it's always a way to repair it, or you're gonna suffer that the rest of your life?
There are some boxers that will take longer to recover. And in fact, there are some kind of fractures that will stop your career as a boxer. So some of the injuries that you didn't prevent or you have it, it will stop your boxer career. So that's the importance of hand wrapping, and that's the importance of preventing that kind of injuries.
So this is even in the early stages for amateurs or for people just training to stay healthy. I think everybody's exposed to injury. So prevention from the early stages of the sport, I think, is important, right?
Yes, this is very important. A lot of boxers or athletes, or even if you do boxing as you did with your son as a recreational issue, if you don't hand grab your hands very well, you could have a problem in your hands that you will have a problem using your computer or using your phone. I have seen a lot of boxers that because of time, they don't take the importance of hand grabbing. So that's why we have to do very severe advisements of that if you don't do a very good hand grabbing, you will have some problems in the future.
Well, that was a really good question, Pepe. And thank you, doctor. Thank you, Dr. Monreal. It is very helpful information. And talking about the same question, Pepe, we have now Jaime Lera, who can tell us about the beginning of a fighter and hand wrapping in amateur competitions. He's an amateur competition expert. He can give us information about the early stages. How you should wrap your hands. Thank you, Jaime.
Hi. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you to the doctor and Jose Benavidez, because they said the same thing, which is the importance of prevention in boxing. You can't wait to have an injury. You have to protect your hands from day one. That's why we always encourage the kids, even 11, 12 years old, as soon as they go into the gym, they have to learn how to wrap their hands properly. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a video of how you should, one of the methods we use to wrap correctly your hands. Okay, obviously there are lots of types of wrappings. So we're going to show one of them. Okay, so this is in the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create the knuckle padding. Okay, so instead of in the professional boxing where you start from the wrist and then you do the knuckle padding, we're going to start right now. So as you can see here in the video, you pinch it with two fingers, and what you're going to do, you're going to go around the fingers here about 4 or 5 times, depending on the size of the wraps and the size of your hands. Okay, so here he's going to go around 4 or 5 times, go over, and very important that the fingers have to be open. Why? Because that is going to go now into the knuckles. So if you do it with your fingers open, it'll be more comfortable. Okay, so as you see now, he just placed it into the knuckle area, and now he's in the video. They're going to proceed to secure the padding. Okay, so now with the wrap, it will go over, and look at this detail. The knuckle area should be right about here. which might seem odd because the padding is a bit lower. But when we go in between the fingers, as Jose has said, it will move forward. So it's very important to keep it low, okay? And also, as I said, if you do it with the fingers open, you'll have a little bit of margin, which will make it more comfortable to secure the area. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go over it and under it. We're going to go over here and under here. So we have it nice and tight. Has to be very comfortable, and it shouldn't move at all, because that's when the skin comes off of your knuckles when you're punching. So now, as you can see, it's nice and secure. And look, it's just there in the with the part where you're going to be doing the punching. You're not going to punch with this area, with the knuckles. You're going to punch right here. So put it here in the video. You always have to protect the front of the fist, okay? So we'll continue with the video. Now, what we're going to want to do is go into the wrist. So we're going to go over the wrist, and then we're going to go in between the fingers. It's very similar to professional boxing. What it will do, it will secure even more the knuckle area and protect the knuckles. Okay, so it's going to go right in between the fingers, and it will exit between the thumb and the index finger. So it doesn't go twice around the finger. And now we'll do the same procedure. It's going to go back to the wrist and in between the finger, comes in between the thumb and the index, and back again to the wrist. So now we'll have one more finger, the last finger. We'll do exactly the same thing. It will go in between and around and back to the wrist. Is that more or less clear?
Yes, and you can twist the bandage there when you go between knuckles.
Sorry?
You can twist the bandage when you go between knuckles. Is that easier?
Exactly, yeah. You can do it, 1 second. You can do it both ways. You can do it without turning it around, or you can turn it around, depending on how you feel more comfortable. I personally like to make it smaller, twist it around so the knuckles are more pronounced. So when you're punching in the bag or anything, it feels better, at least for me. But also you can do it without twisting it.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got the knuckle area and we've gone in between the fingers. Now we're going to protect the rest of the hand, and we're going to do that with horizontal bands. We're going to see now, we're going to go back to the knuckles, but we're not going to go in between the fingers anymore. We're going to go around, and look what he's going to do now. So he's gone around just under the knuckles. That would be the limit of the tape in professional boxing. This is for amateur or training, but it is the same principle. So as you can see here with the thumb, he's pinching it, so he can apply all the pressure in this area and not any pressure in the back of the hand, which will ultimately make your hand numb if you apply too much pressure there. So all the pressure have to go on top. Okay, so he's applying pressure. And lots of pressure, because those are the metacarpals, so it's very important that they are well protected. And as you can see, no pressure whatsoever on the palm of the hand. So now it's going to go back. 1 second. As you can see, is this band, horizontal band. It will also prevent the knuckle area coming forward when the hand goes into the glove. Sometimes it slides up. So with this band, it will prevent that from happening. So this band is very important. Okay, so now it's going to continue. So as you can see, he's making a lot of emphasis in it has to be really tight. And now it's going to go down to the wrist and around the thumb. We're going around the thumb also to protect it, but also to create a pressure point for this next horizontal band, which is the band of the scaphoid and all the carbs. These are all the little bones that we have in the hand. These are it's very easy to injure them. So it's really, really important to protect this area as well. So not hardly any pressure around the thumb and quite a lot of pressure only in this part of the hand. So he's gone around the thumb again. And what we're going to do, another horizontal band, but just a little bit lower, just to make everything secure. And now we're just going to finish the wrap up, going down the forearm, also to protect the muscles, the bones of the forearm, and it will give more stability to the wrist. So he's just going to finish it right up there. And that will be a proper amateur hand wraps, which will also be used for training sessions. Also, what you could do, one second. Also, for training sessions, if you don't feel that comfortable enough, you could always reinforce it with training tape or duct tape or whatever to just reinforce all the easily injured parts of the hand.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jaime. It's really different. It's a little bulkier than the Pro. What do you think about that, David? Still there? I think he left. But it is really, really important, and I think we learn the two difference. There are differences between each other. What about the palm in the amateur? I mean, we saw the Pro that is moving this forward to leave this space empty so you can close your hands. What's happening in amateur?
Okay, it's gonna show right now. Okay, one second. I think it shows in the video. Okay. No, it doesn't show, but what happens is, as soon as you go with the wraps here, you'll create a grip that is really, really similar to a professional. So you'll have when you do all the crossings on the back of the hand, the palm of the hand will be absolutely free. So you can close your hand comfortable and it won't bother you whatsoever.
Perfect. Pepe, do you have any question?
Well, no, this is very, very important for everybody to know. This, as we saw in this explanation of Dr. Monreal, how there's a lot of bones, smaller bones, a lot of the muscles and cartilage that can get injured. So all the protection around the hand and the wrist are crucial to keep the hand tight. So many times, in the Spanish version, there was a comment about how sometimes we see gloves and the wrappings to protect the hand. How much does the hand wrapping have to do with maybe lessen the impact, a dangerous impact on the opponent? I don't know if this is something that people think about, or is it just the personal protection? So I remember there were studies on the materials that the gloves are made of to have like the right balance of not taking away the impact of a punch, but not making it also extremely dangerous for the boxer, receiving the impact. So there's this
two sides on this. Yes, of course.
There's both sides. Yes. protecting the hand, and also, you know, preventing like an injury, like a very serious injury to the other boxer. I don't know if this is an issue. I don't know if anybody thinks about this. I'm just wondering.
Yes, there are some studies about the biomechanical forces of the impact of the hand. So that's why the WBC has making those changes in the gloves. You remember the thumb, now it's a stick.
Yeah.
It has to be a balance between how hard, because you have to prevent your hands, but you have to prevent your opponent too. So that's very important. It has to be a balance, because if you have to prevent yourself, but remember, your opponent is your brother too, so you have to prevent an injury on your opponent too.
I have a question, doctor. Is there any issue with blood circulations in the hand when the hand wrapping is a little tight, or when your hand is swelling and the circulation is not that good?
That's an excellent question. Not just the vessels, but the nerves. And Jaime can explain us, he did it already, that sometimes if you put some more pressure than normal in the veins, the arteries, and especially on the nerves, the boxer during the fight, for example, will feel like numbness and losses of strength. I don't know if you have seen sometimes with fights that you have commented that something is happening with his hands. Not always are the bones, but the veins, the vessels, and the nerves. I don't know if Jaime can tell us about the importance of not pressing the nerves.
Yes, exactly. If you apply too much pressure on the back of the hand, that is like the most sensible part of the hand, which if you apply too much pressure, will, as the doctor is saying, it will stop, well, it won't allow blood to flow as easily, but what he said also is the nerves. If your hand goes numb and you're fighting, that you've got a real issue, because you're not going to feel confident punching. And also a kind of psychological aspect of this is you have an opponent in front of you and you're thinking about your hand. You're not having your full attention into the fight, which also results in getting punched a lot more and being maybe even getting knocked out or whatever. So there really is a lot of importance into the hand wraps, because it will make you feel confident and give your attention 100% to your rival. If you are thinking more about your hands than you are about the fighter you're in the ring with, you've got a serious problem.
Yes. That's what sometimes happens with fighters like 𝗥𝗢𝗨𝗡𝗗, Dr. Monreal, that you worked with him. He got injured easily in the hands, and he was thinking more in not getting injured in his hands than fighting.
Yeah, as I told you, the psychological and economical aspect of an injury in the hands is very big. So a lot of things, we don't know what happened with any boxer like Juan Francisco Estrada when he was starting to box. So that's the importance of the prevention of the injuries. I have a story about a championship. Sometimes Jaime can tell you about that. We had a fight, a championship fight, and you know, when the supervisor comes and signs and they say everything is fine, but sometimes it takes like 4 or 5 minutes, and then they start to feel something, and they have to bring the commissioner to change again the hand rail, because if not, something will happen. So it's very important that we have to prevent that kind of injuries.
And many times, not just the commissioner, a member of the other team,
yes,
the supervisor.
Have to come yeah. Because sometimes after they finish the hand wrapping, they feel fine, but after 4 or 5 minutes, so that way you have to do the hand wrapping and then start to punch a little bit to see how it feels.
Yes, because also this is something that you cannot fix during the fight.
Yes.
if in the middle of the fight you feel something in the wrapping, you cannot take off the glove and fix it. So this is crucial that the hand wrapping is done perfect before going into the ring, because then there's nothing you can do.
It's not the choose.
There are no timeout.
Exactly. No timeout.
Well, if there's anything else you want to add, the closing of your participation of each. Jaime, do you have something else to close your participation?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Well, one last thing is, as you're saying, you can't, is the importance of the hand wrap also, as Jose Benavidez Senior was saying, to not put too much padding, because sometimes maybe even it feels good, the wrapping or whatever, but then you put it into the glove and maybe it doesn't fit. You put too much padding, and that it really is a problem, because then you have to start all over again or fight without being able to close your hand probably. So it's really is not a nice feeling. So, well, I just want to say thank you for having me in this WBC talks in the university. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jaime. Doctor, do you have anything else to add?
No, just thank you for everything, and prevention, stay at home, stay safe, and let's go COVID-19.
Pepe, before you close, I want to tell you something. You have forbidden to punch again without hand wrapping. You're an artist and you have to take care of your hands, okay?
Exactly. I will never do that again.
Please go ahead.
Yes, well, have you noticed that now with all this thing going on in the world, have you noticed that there's no wars, that there's no really strong political issues going on? Have you noticed how the world is one? Have you noticed that we are all together in this? We are all suffering, if you want to say it like that. So this is like they talk about how life is going to change, how things are going to be different. Well, it's on us. It's every person in the world is responsible for this change, not the leaders, us. So now we are having better education on how to keep how to sanitize our hands, our bodies, our how to interact with people, and that has made a great difference. We are not. This is not. We are at home, and we have the unique chance to rethink of our lives and rethink how we are going to make the change in the world. We are going to make it, not the presidents, not the leaders, as I said. So let's keep doing, let's keep safe, let's keep home, let's keep listening to the advice of the experts, and let us help you stay informed and also entertained with all this the transmissions, that these 10 rounds that we will have. There's some fun things that we will be doing in this coming days. Like you're going to be able to judge a round, for example, and you're going to hear referees, and you're going to hear ring officials. So let's be active, proactive, as they say, in this change. So we all have something we have saying, we had an opinion, and all the actions that we can undertake to make this change happen. The WBC is always not only the boxer's corner, because we always are, but always with our social responsibility, we are trying to be proactive and give all the information, all the help that we can. So I really appreciate the intervention of the experts, our champion, and Jose, his father, for the advice, for the correct way of doing things. So let's keep it up and stay safe. And thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Pepe. I think you're right. We have to stay positive. and find new ways to touch each other, not physically, but mentally and with the heart. Thank you, Pepe. 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞, please give us the information for tomorrow, because we're going to have the third round that is going to be really interesting.
Yes, well, first I want to say that I love, Pepe, what you just say. Let's just be humans. Let's feel our spirit. Let's enjoy our family. Let's enjoy again the simple things of life. And of course, let's enjoy during these days the WCB talks. All these 10 rounds. Tomorrow we are going to have the referee panel, which is going to be transmitted at 1 o'clock Mexico City time. And we are going to have in the panel Frank Garza, Ed Colantes, and Christian Curiel, and maybe some others from the chairs, from the board of chairs of the official rings, maybe Hubert Mintz, I don't know. Of course, Mauricio Victor is going to be conducting. And let's enjoy the simple things of life. Let's see you tomorrow, and thank you very much. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, 𝗧𝗔𝗟𝗞. As you heard, it's going to be amazing tomorrow. They have a lot of stories to share, and I know you're going to have a great time. Please follow us tomorrow. Thank you very much.